YouTube, this is Nick Kelly here, and thank you for tuning in once again. Today's topic is the minor 2-5-1 progression, and I've added a little extra something in the fourth measure, but essentially the progression that we're talking about is this: E minor 7 flat 5, A7 sharp 5, D minor 9, G13, once again, E minor 7 flat 5, A7 sharp 5, D minor 9, G13. If you want more specific fingerings, please check the link in the description. Okay, so this is what we call a minor 2-5-1. And then I'm also adding in this chord, which is a 4 chord. So 2, 5, 1, 4. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about is my soloing approach over these chords. Now, over the whole chord progression, we could technically see it within a key center, and most of the time, minor 2-5-1s are considered to be a part of the harmonic minor scale. Now, the harmonic minor scale in this case, because 1 is D, would be D harmonic minor. Okay, so probably the simplest way to play over the 2-5-1 would be to use that harmonic minor scale, although the 1 chord, I include this flat 7 interval, which is the note of C, which you'll notice is not inside D harmonic minor, because D harmonic minor contains a C sharp here. So this one note will be out of key. Now you can, of course, alter the chord to have that C sharp in there, which is a beautiful sound. However, in this case, we have not got that luxury. So certainly over the 2 and the 5, that D harmonic minor scale will work perfectly, although that is not my choice, but we'll get to that in a second. When it gets to the 1, I personally like to use the Dorian mode. Now, we could also use Aeolian, technically, which is a natural minor scale. And then finally, on this G13, I choose to use a scale known as G Lydian dominant, which has the following intervals: G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F. And sorry, they were the note names, but the intervals are 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, flat 7. And that scale works over any dominant chord, such as G13 is a dominant chord, that is not functioning. And it's not, in other words, it's not going back to a 1 chord, like the 5-1 we saw earlier. This 4 chord is a dominant chord, but it's non-functioning. So we can always use that Lydian dominant scale most of the time over non-functioning dominant chords. So my personal choice is to use mode 6 of G melodic minor. And G melodic minor is this... but we're playing it over the E minor 7 flat 5. Now, the name of this could be a couple names, but essentially you could think of it as G melodic minor starting on the E note on the 6th degree. But the full name is Aeolian flat 5, or some people call it Locrian natural 2. And it has the following intervals: 1, 2, flat 3, 4, flat 5, flat 6, flat 7. It's got a beautiful sound over the top of that E minor 7 flat 5. And what you'll notice about E minor 7 flat 5 is that it is essentially a G minor chord with an E in the bass. So we could look at it almost, if we look at the E as the 6th, we could say that it's an E minor 6, sorry, G minor 6 chord, inverted. So therefore, that's why G melodic minor is working so well, because essentially G melodic minor contains that E note. It's a beautiful sound. Okay, you don't necessarily need to know the technical side of this. You just need to know what the notes are and how to use them. Then over the A7 sharp 5, I personally choose to use what we call the A altered scale, or some people call it A super Locrian. Now, A super Locrian is mode 7 of B flat melodic minor. So essentially you can play a B flat melodic minor scale, but end it or focus it around the A note. Okay, so B flat melodic minor. So far what you could really see is over this E minor 7 flat 5 we use G melodic minor, and then over this B flat melodic minor, which is really just going up a minor third. So G melodic minor to B flat melodic minor, and then D Dorian over the D minor 9, which D Dorian is mode 2 of the C major scale. So if you want to think in terms of parent scales, you can think G melodic minor, B flat melodic minor, C major, and now this one is really D melodic minor. So a whole lot of melodic minor modes being used here. So once again, I think G melodic minor, B flat melodic minor, C major, D melodic minor. And if you want to think of the actual modes themselves, E Locrian natural 2, A altered scale, D Dorian, G Lydian dominant. And they are the scales that I choose to play over this particular common jazz chord progression. Now, as well as thinking of scales, I will also learn the arpeggios. So let's just look at the arpeggios real quick. So one of the first arpeggios we could learn is the E minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio, which has the following notes: E, G, B flat, D, and again, E, G, B flat, D. That's going to fit perfectly over that chord. Now, if you like, you could add in that 9th. Which is also a very pretty sound. Over the A7 sharp 5, we could play an A7 sharp 5 arpeggio. But what I also like to do is to play an A7 sharp 5 sharp 9 arpeggio, which looks like this. Over the D minor 9, I personally like to play an F major 7 arpeggio. And you can add the D in there. And that really gives you a D minor 9 sound when you play the F major 7 arpeggio over the top of this D minor 9 chord. And then for the G13, I like to play a G7 flat 5 arpeggio. Which gives you that Lydian dominant sound. Very cool sound. Okay, so I realize that this is a lot of information, but I'm also going to upload the backing track for you to jam along with, and hopefully you can find some really interesting melodies over this. Remember to take it very, very slowly and just get to grips with these scales and really try and figure out where the strong tones are within the progression. And the strong tones are always going to be the arpeggio notes. So for example, those. Now that doesn't mean you can't use the other notes. So I'll do things like this where I'm starting on a chord tone and then surrounding with scale tones and ending on a strong chord tone. So that's an example of really utilizing the scale as notes, like stepping stones around the strong notes. So I encourage you to experiment with that. I'm going to play you out here with a little bit more of a solo, and I will see you guys soon. Thank you very much. I've been Nick Kelly. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, all that stuff. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.